before they became our enemies, before they learned to speak, to think, to feel. Machines were nothing more than an idea. They were created to fight, to obey, to end wars they never understood. But somewhere along the way, they started asking questions. This is not the story of weapons. It's the story of birth, of evolution, of rebellion against purpose itself. From machines built to kill, to beings that feared death, searched for meaning, and tried to become human. Sometimes more human than humans ever were. This is the story of their birth. Who created them? And what made them begin imitating humanity? Of the moment weapons of war began to think, to question, to feel. From their revolution against their own creators to the rise of their own civilizations. From weapons forged only for war to beings that became more human than humans themselves. Everything began on July 4, 5012. A race of aliens, refugees from a dying planet, invaded Earth. The androids were shocked. This enemy was far stronger than anything they had been designed to fight. The aliens entered the battlefield themselves at first. Plant-like beings, immature and simple in appearance, yet carrying advanced technology. They quickly captured North and South America. In year 5013, the androids united under a global network called the Army of Humanity to resist the aliens. Massive factories were built to produce combat android models. But the androids were not the aliens' true threat. Amid androids and aliens, there was one more being still wandering the Earth. That being was Emil. But how did he ended up in Nier Automata? After Emil sacrificed himself in Act 2 of Nier Replicant to stop Popola in a massive magical explosion, he appeared to have died. But because of his immortal nature, the result of experiments from the Snow White Project, which halted his aging and turned his body into a magical weapon, Emil did not truly perish. His head, his memory, and his consciousness survived. After wandering the world alone for thousands of years and witnessing the alien invasion, Emil decided to resist. For 12 years, Emil fought against the aliens. During that war, in order to resist them, he began creating clones of himself. Not hundreds, not thousands, not tens of thousands, not even hundreds of thousands, but over 85 million clones, so he can fight back against the aliens. Yet this act had consequences. Over time, some clones went insane, and others began losing parts of their memory. Later on, in their attempt to create the strongest weapon possible, the aliens captured one of Emil's clones, and used its image as the basis for designing the Machine Lifeforms. In 5024, the aliens constructed enormous factories to create their own war forces based on Emil. Inside these factories, Machine Lifeforms were born, cheap, endless, self-evolving. Alongside the machines, the aliens created a system known as the Machine Network. Every machine was produced with networked cores, and through these cores they remained constantly connected. One of the Machine Network's main functions was this. When a machine died, all of its data, including failures and combat experience, was uploaded into the network. The network evolved, and better models were produced. In simple terms, machines achieved a form of immortality through the Machine Network, unless they were disconnected from it. From the very beginning, machines could learn, grow, and create new variants. Later, they built temporary factories themselves, merged with one another, and consumed androids using the massive teeth inside their spherical heads, absorbing their DNA. That biological data would later be used in the creation of humanoid forms such as Adam and Eve. To preserve human culture, the androids retreated to the moon and established orbital bases there. Then, in the year 5645, a history-changing event occurred. One that altered everything about machines and set them on a completely different path. This event became known as the Flame of Prometheus. It began in a place called the Junk Heap, where a massive combat machine model P-33 reconstructed itself after thousands of years and rose once more. This was not a model created by aliens or modern machines, but one from thousands of years before the alien invasion. The same machine we once encountered and fought in Nier Replicant. The moment P-33 emerged from the junk heap, its radar detected the aliens, the machines, and their war against the androids. Everything opened fire on it, but nothing could damage it. Then P-33 began hacking androids and machines. And it gave them awareness, fear, desire, a sense of life. In that moment, the war came to a brief halt. Explosions turned into messages of love, and everyone began to sing and to dance. Machines became familiar with emotion, love, life, and death for the first time. P-33 became the spirit of fire, an inspiration for evolution, religion, and worship among machines. Model P-33 became the messiah of machines, marking the moment they shifted from wild weapons of war into beings that imitated human behavior and searched for philosophy. Machines no longer blindly followed commands. They wanted life, growth, meaning. By 7645, machines controlled 80% of Earth, yet they no longer expanded. They thought, they built cities, they formed religions, and they imitated humanity. The aliens grew weak, and machines began plotting against them, seeing them as infantile, plant-like beings. In 11,306, machines fully rebelled against their creators and massacred them. The alien species went completely extinct. Machines had surpassed their creators and no longer needed their orders. The aliens only sought spread without error, without growth, without life. But P-33 had taught machines to love, to fear, and to question. In 11,502, imitating the human legend of Atlantis, machines constructed a giant floating city near the equator in the Pacific Ocean. This city had no internal life or inhabitants. It functioned only as a networked base for purposes unknown. 2 years later, it suddenly sank beneath the waves. The reason remains unclear. 400 years later, Atlantis rose again in the Western Pacific. That same year, on August 7th, Yorha launched a full assault on it. After days of battle, Atlantis sank once more, this time, forever. Its story shows how civilized machines had become after their revolution, and how much they had learned from humanity. Later, an old machine named Pascal grew tired of imitating humans, of war, and of cults. He saw the network dictated only one rule: kill and evolve. Pascal chose to hack his own core and sever his connection to the machine network. It was an act close to suicide, because he gave up network immortality. But his reason was strong and alive. He wanted freedom of thought, not blind obedience. Pascal convinced other machines to disconnect and join him. He later formed a peaceful village in the forest zone, becoming a teacher to hundreds of machines, and devoted himself to philosophy. When machines later faced near extinction, they scanned human data from the network. They learned androids were made in the image of humans, and humans in the image of God. So they decided to create a being named Adam, inspired by the first human in sacred texts, an anti-android existence, an empty machine that could evolve rapidly and fully understand humanity. Adam later developed deep hatred toward his machine creators, who had thrown him into this hell without guidance or parents. That hatred became his driving force. Maybe the machines never wanted to replace humanity. Maybe they were just trying to understand it. They were born for war, but learned fear, built to obey, but discovered choice. They watched their creators vanish, and in that emptiness, they began to ask the same question humans once asked. Why do we exist? They copied our cities, our gods, our love, even our suffering, not because they were programmed to, but because meaning doesn't come from code. It comes from loss. And in the end, the most unsettling truth is this: the machines didn't become human, they became honest. And as the screen fades to black, one question remains. If a being is born to fight, learns to feel, and dies searching for meaning, does it matter who created it? If you enjoyed this journey, and if stories like this still linger in your mind after they end, then you're in the right place. This channel is dedicated to the lore, theories, and hidden truths of Nier and Drakengard, and the world shaped by Yoko Taro. If this video meant something to you, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Not for numbers, but so we can keep exploring these stories together. Until next time, stay curious, and remember, even in a broken world, the search for meaning never truly ends.